On Thursday, it was back to European duties from our team, Nottingham Forest, as we took on Fenerbahce in the second leg of the UEFA Europa League playoff round. Forest started a weakened side, which showed that Vitor Pereira, our new gaffer, clearly thought that the tie was over. However, panic stations soon set in when Fenerbahce grabbed the opening goal in the first half, and all of a sudden the atmosphere around the ground completely changed. It's such a weird season for Forest as we continue our European run while also fighting relegation. And all of a sudden in the second half, when Fenerbahce got the penalty early doors to make it 3-2 on aggregate, there was a sense around the city ground that we were going to bottle this and this season was going to get even worse. I must say, on Fenerbahce's fans, it's incredible how I can't get a bottle of Pepsi in and they can get a whole artillery's worth of fireworks in. But that's not the point. The point is that they were very impressive and made a lot of noise. But they were soon silenced by Callum Hudson-Odoi, who grabbed the goal and make it 4-2 on aggregate, thus surely ensuring our place in the round of 16. On the players on the pitch, there were two performances that stood out. One, it was an honour to watch N'Golo Kante play. Even though his peak years may be behind him, he's still a class act. And as for Forest, Lorenzo Luca, he stood out for a completely different reason. Napoli have quoted us 40 million on him. I personally wouldn't pay 40 quid.
Yes, if ever there was a game to show the contrast between Forest season, it was Thursday night. Obviously, I was at the City Ground watching us play Fenerbahce. We went into the game full of confidence. We thought, I was even hearing people on the way to the ground saying, if we win it, if we're up 2-0 at half-time, then we'll probably go home, which I don't like anyway, but I did hear those comments. And all of a sudden, it nearly went horribly wrong. And then eventually brought the big guns on. Well, we brought the big guns on at half-time, but eventually it clicked into place. Callum Hudson-Odoi put worries to bed, and like I say, we're through, and we're to play Midtjylland in the next round. That side of the draw is tough, really tough. Stuttgart and Porto in the quarterfinals, Villa, Roma, Bologna, or Lille. I'll try to think of who Villa had there in the semis, and then the final. If by some miracle we got there, would actually probably be against teams from what I think is a much weaker side of the draw. I can't lie. But I think to get through our side will be incredibly tough. Midtjylland are no mugs. You know, I was there at the City Ground when they beat us in our first home game in the league phase, and they're a really well-drilled side who play. They're a bit like Bodo, I guess, to a lesser extent. Typical Scandinavian side. Very adaptable in terms of their systems. All understand their roles. All play their roles superbly, and yeah, it's a tough one, to be honest with you. I must say, looking at the draw yesterday, I'm not hopeful. Stuttgart as well looked good. They looked good against Celtic last week. Porto, we've obviously seen off, but over 2 legs, I would imagine they would be stronger. And then the semis, if we even get that far, those 4 teams are going to be tough. But it just shows the contrast between Forest season, because on the one hand, we're plotting our route to the final, and then on the other hand, we're looking and we're going, we might get relegated, because it's a huge game today against Brighton. I think it's 3 points or nothing. You know, there's no other way around. We threw away a point last week against Liverpool, and we did throw it away. We probably threw away 3 points with the chances that we had and the dominance of the ball and how poor Liverpool were. But we've got to really get 3 points today, in my eyes, against Brighton. I don't think there's any other options about it. But we shall have to wait and see. Vitor Pereira, it has looked more promising. It has looked more expansive under him. It seems to be the players seem to be playing a bit more confidence. But then we saw this with Dyche at the start, and then he was gone. And I think there's deeper issues at Forest. Regardless of what the result of this season is, they need to be sorted quite quickly. As always, guys, let us know what you think. Please like, comment and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated. There's a try to call One Bad Sports News bandwagon. I've been Charlie. Have a great day.